And just like that, we are live. We are back in business. Welcome back to another. Glad you guys are here tonight for another Wake 'em Up Wednesday. And of course, I am your host, the one and only Jake the Awake. How you guys doing out there in YouTube land? Hope you guys are all doing good tonight. Hope you guys are ready to have some fun tonight. I see we got Rose Bell in the chat. Hi, Rose. I see some of my other moderators here, such as Truth Hurts also here. I see Lintaway, Duct Cleaning. What's up, Lintaway? How you doing? Truth Hurts says hello, everyone. Rose Bell is saying hello to Holden. All right. And Insane in the Brains here. He says, did Mark Rober get replaced? That shill looks like he has an actor pretending to be him in his last video. You know, nowadays, it's safer to assume that every shill at some point is going to be replaced or already has been replaced. Not a lot of old school celebrities still playing the same role. A whole lot of replacement actors out there. And tonight, that's what we're going to be talking about, replacement actors. Because personally, I don't think it's the same Bill Gates that we're looking at in 2026 that we started with back in the 90s and early 2000s. So the old Bill Gates and current Bill Gates look like two completely different people. And tonight I'm going to jump into that because Bill Gates is in the news. He's connected back to Epstein in a recent testimony, and we've been given the transcript by the mainstream media who got it from the government. So we know we can trust this to be verified, accurate news. This Bill Gates Epstein connection. We're going to go over that tonight. All right. Good to see you guys. Good to see you. It's been a long week of boring news. And there was a new story that dropped today about Bill Gates and Epstein being connected and that Epstein was going to blackmail Bill Gates. And I thought, okay, I could break this down. I know what I can say that no other channel is going to say. I know that I can break this down in my own special way, put my own special take on this. And that's what I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to give you my one and only real breakdown of this Bill Gates, Jeffrey Epstein connection that you won't get anywhere else. So stick around for that tonight. All right. Sunflower's here as well. She says, insane in the membrane, insane in the membrane, insane in the brain, insane in the membrane, insane, got no brain. That's right. Gonna have some fun tonight. Hope you guys are ready for a good show. All right. So, with that said, and I see Kat's here. Hi, Kat. Hi, everybody. Hello to everybody. All right, I got some super chats that came in before the show even started. We have RY here who missed the last stream or two, and here he is. I want to welcome back RY coming in with the first super chat of the night. Not only that, it looks like RY has like the first 5 super chats of the night. So not only is RY showing up, but he's showing up supporting this show strong. So here we go, getting the show started here with the first super chat of the night. We got RY saying, JTA, the number one truther. Sorry I've been away the last live stream. Shout out to you, Holden, JP, Rose, D-Cran, LaFlair, Nate X, Truth Hurts, Lintaway, and everyone else. Oh, that's awesome, bro. Glad to see you again. Yeah, we missed you, the last stream, but sometimes people got other things to do, so I don't expect everyone to be able to catch every one of my live streams, but I'm glad to see you here tonight, buddy. And I know you got several different impressions that you want me to do, so let's go ahead and knock these out. Since you weren't here last week, I didn't do as many impressions. So here we go, getting us started with our first impression of the night. RY wants Trump questioned about Jake the asshole calling him a liar. Trump says, quite frankly, Jake the Awake is a disaster. He's controlled by, wait for it, China. All right. Let me see if I can make this happen here. Let me get a drink from my personal lunar module homeless tweaker shelter coffee mug. I'm drinking water, but I broke my big gigantic mug, so I had to reach for another mug. So I went with the classic lunar module homeless tweaker shelter mug tonight. Order yours through the link down below. There you go. It's called product placement. All right. So quite frankly, I very disappointed to hear that there's all these rumors and lies being spread about me. I heard there's this fella calls himself Jake the Awake. I hear he's obsessed with me. He can't stop talking about me, can't keep my name out of his mouth, and he's telling lies. He's repeating the same lies that the liberal media, the fake news have been telling. He says that I am owned by Israel. You hear that a lot from these leftist propagandists. They say that I'm owned by Israel. However, that's a lie. Nobody owns me. I'm making all of my own decisions, and that's why America's the hottest country in the world right now. We're doing better than we've ever done before. And the reason why these leftists are lying about me is because they're all controlled by China. In fact, this Jake the Awake character, quite frankly, he's a disaster. You don't want to listen to this guy. He's owned and controlled by China. The Chinese, they get these leftist propagandists to spread rumors about me. I'm not owned by Israel. It's nothing but fake news. This is the real news right here, right now. All right, getting the real news. All right, RY now wants Richie from Boston to publicly acknowledge that his last batch of organic Bible vape juice was contaminated with the Deemsters. He blames one of his employees for accidentally spilling it into the mixing vat. It's very creative, RY. I don't think anyone's ever asked me to do this before, but away we go. All right, so I regret to inform you all we had a very unfortunate accident that happened at our Bible vape juice facility. As you know, I am the producer of the only organic Bible vape juice, which has been proven to cure Chinese nano AIDS. And we are the largest distributor on earth. And one of our biggest customers right now, of course, is none other than President Trump. He orders more vials of our organic Bible vape juice than anyone else. So here's where the problem comes in. Unfortunately, I got a call that one of my employees accidentally spilled what he called the spirit molecule. He spilled this vial of this molecule into the organic Bible vape batch that we were mixing up. And apparently this was the same batch that we sent out to all of our biggest customers, including President Trump. So to make a long story short, I believe I may have accidentally sent the president a batch of organic Bible vape juice that is not exactly organic. How can I put this? I believe it may be contaminated with the world's most strongest psychoactive ever known to man. However, I digress. What I need to do is I need to get this message to Trump before he hits that vape. At any rate, I'm going to digress. Please like, share, and subscribe. This message needs to get to Trump ASAP. So I got to tell you, I'm very, very excited to vape this new batch of Richie from Boston's organic Bible vape juice. I got a lot of Chinese nano AIDS that are inside of my anus, and quite frankly, I can't wait to get rid of them. All right. So now the next super chat is going to be, of course, Trump unknowingly takes a hit of the contaminated juice. He sees a bunch of codes, and publicly acknowledges the flat earth that Jake the Awake is the funniest comedian and number one truther in the world. I mean, who hasn't seen that scenario play out, right? I got to say, I'm quite excited to do some vaping of this organic Bible vape juice. Nothing excites me more when I get a fresh new package from Richie from Boston. I know that my anus is going to be cleared out in no time of all those Chinese nano aids. He's a lot of genius, that Richie from Boston. And this is, of course, some of his finest Chinese nano drone removal juice known as organic Bible vape juice. I'm going to have me some right now. I got to tell you, it tastes just as good as ever. Whoa, there seems to be something different about this batch of organic vape juice. This one seems different than before. Or 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 hey hey uh, uh. I got to tell you, I believe I just had what's known as an epiphany of sorts. Seems I've been wrong all this time. You know, it takes a big man to admit when he's wrong. So that's what I'm going to do right here, right now. Being I'm one of the biggest men of all in more ways than one, if you catch my drift. I'm going to admit right here, right now, Jake the Awake is actually one of the funniest damn comedians I've ever seen, one of the greatest truth tellers ever known. When I said that he was a liar for saying that I'm owned by Israel, I was mistaken. He's completely right. So go ahead, like, share, and subscribe. Jake the Asshole, also known as Jake the Awake. Some people think he's an asshole. I think he's a lot of genius. So go ahead, make sure that you subscribe to his channel right now. There you go. Wow. You know, it's pretty unbelievable to try and think of Trump ever hitting the Deemsters. Like, to try and think of Trump actually smoking the spirit molecule and doing any of this. Everyone knows it would never happen in a million bazillion years. So the fact that I have to try and bring these ideas to life, which could never and would never happen, and I have to take these silly requests and try and actually make them believable through the use of my physical comedy. I got to tell you, it's very challenging. RY, you challenge me to the point where it's difficult. Some of your requests are so damn creative that I'm like, shit, am I going to be able to do this? So kudos, sir, for coming up with these crazy requests. All right, and the fifth super chat coming in from RY wants Jack Morgan starting a new podcast called Take a Hit with Jack, which has Trump on the show talking about his new enlightenment. So you're going to want to take a hit, metaphorically speaking. We're going to get a little crazy, going to get a little out there. We're going to get a little wow. All right, Nestor's not here, so I'm going to be doing this one solo, but I have a very special guest tonight. And what's crazy, I didn't even invite him on. Yeah, he basically invited himself. None other than President Trump. So I got to tell you, Jack, I'm glad to be here on your YouTube channel. I've been watching you for a long time. I've been following you on your journey ever since you were skateboarding. So I know you used to be a skateboarder, and then you were a waiter for a number of years and a bartender, and you worked your way up to YouTube, and you started making these wonderful videos. And now look at you. You've got a well over 100,000 subscribers. You made it almost to the tippy top of YouTube. And I want to say that you represent the American dream. I wish more Americans were willing to work hard like Jack Morgan in order to achieve the American dream. So I want to thank you for showing America and everybody else that the American dream is still achievable. You just got to work hard. So I want to give you a Congressional Medal of Honor in honor of being such an awesome individual, Jack Morgan. I bestow upon you this medal. Whoa, that's crazy. I never knew when I was skateboarding that one day I'd be sitting here in front of the freaking president getting a medal. Whoa, take a hit, metaphorically speaking. Wow, wow. All right. All right, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. What a way to start the show, huh? All right. And I also see that Big Money Bob has sent 5 Jake the Awake gift memberships. So shout outs to Big Money Bob hooking up the Jake the Awake gifted memberships. All right. Are you guys ready to get started tonight? Doing some silly impressions. Glad to see RY back. All right. I guess we can go ahead and get this party started now. And here's the gifted memberships from Big Money Bob. So if you are lucky enough to receive a gifted membership from Big Money Bob, make sure to give him a big thank you. With that said, you guys ready to dive into tonight's show? All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started with the first video. So, like I put in the title, Bill Gates and Epstein are in the news, and all the mainstream news outlets are basically running the same clip. So let me go ahead and show you that. And then I'll give you my thoughts on these two characters. All right.
In the Congress's Jeffrey Epstein investigation, specifically the one led by the House Oversight Committee. We now have the transcripts of Bill Gates's closed-door testimony, of course, the Microsoft co-founder.
They have the transcript of his closed-door testimony. Oh, okay. Well, then you know it's legit. It's totally verified. They got the transcript, and they're going to give it to us. Awesome. I'm so glad the mainstream media is here to let me know about the transcript of what was said behind closed doors. Thank you, mainstream media, for letting me know what was said behind closed doors so that no secrets are kept from me, the television viewer.
About his relationship with a convicted sex offender. Melanie Zanona has been digging through that testimony and has more tonight.
Well, one of the biggest takeaways from this testimony is about an apparent plot by Epstein to potentially blackmail Bill Gates, though it was never actually followed through on. Gates said he pursued a relationship with Epstein in hopes of raising more money for the Bill Gates Foundation, but he ended.
Gates pursued a relationship with Jeffrey so that he could earn more money for his foundation. And Gates almost was blackmailed by Epstein. Ooh. Juicy story. Tell me more.
That relationship, once it became clear Epstein was never going to follow through. However, at that point, Epstein at least considered trying to blackmail Gates as a way to sort of pressure him to re-engage in their relationship. With Gates telling lawmakers, I was not blackmailed, but, you know, as you look at these emails, it looks like Mr. Epstein's brainstorming was going in that direction. It appears that.
So he didn't get blackmailed, but it looked like perhaps maybe he thought he might. Bum, bum, bum. Whoa! Holy shit. I'm so glad the mainstream media is letting me know that Bill Gates didn't get blackmailed, but almost maybe thought he would. Ooh, this is so juicy. Please tell me more. I got to know more about this story of what was said in this transcript that was talked about behind closed doors.
In many cases, he, at least in emails to himself, was sort of rehearsing how either he or he coaching someone else might choose to blackmail me, but none of those messages were ever sent to me. Some of the Epstein files did contain draft emails or emails sent to Epstein himself that detailed salacious and...
Look, you got this still shot, see? This is proof that they all hung out. This is all the proof you need that these guys used to be friends. This still shot, this really old still shot of these two characters who the TV told you about, who no one ever knew about until the TV told you about them.
Unverified allegations about Gates, which Gates said were absolutely false. Gates also said Epstein learned about some of the affairs that Gates had during his marriage, but Gates testified that none of those affairs had any connection to Epstein. Another key
All right, so he admits to having affairs. So we're going to believe that this guy was cheating on Melinda, and that it's all coming out in these files, right? Okay, so I'm going to believe that this grandma-looking fellow right here was sleeping around on his wife, and now the truth is coming out. So not only do they want you to believe that he's a diabolical evil genius, now they got him connected back to Jeffrey, and on top of it, he cheated on his wife. What a piece of shit. So they get the normies to believe that this guy is a literal diabolical evil genius carrying out a genocidal plan among lots of other evil plans, you know, alongside rolling out fake meat and depopulation agendas across the board, right? And so they think that this diabolical nerd right here is basically out trying to depopulate the world, and also ties back to Jeffrey, and he also cheated on his wife. I mean, clearly this has got to be like the most diabolical evil nerd in the history of the world, right? That's what they want the sheeple to believe, that that's what this guy is, that he's actually carrying out this evil plan in front of everybody, and nobody's stopping him, buying up all the farmland, turning all the meat fake, pushing the vax agenda, and depopulating the earth. And there he is, just continuing to do his evil plan in plain sight. And so they get the sheep to run with this idea that this nerd that they show on screen is capable of doing those things and is in the process of doing those things. And then they have a bunch of content creators here on YouTube pushing a bunch of conspiracy propaganda, making it out like, yes, Bill Gates is indeed this evil, diabolical genius carrying out this evil plan. Meanwhile, guys like me, I look at him and I say, this is just a character on the world stage. Nothing more than just a puppet for the sheeple to point at and be afraid of. So it's a figurehead designed to be the lightning rod for the negativity of the sheeple. So the hatred coming from the sheeple about the evil agendas that they think are going on, they point at this guy, Bill Gates. It's that guy, this one evil nerd. He's the guy responsible. So instead of looking at the government as a whole for carrying out evil agendas, people look at the nerd and they think it's this evil bad guy, this old computer genius nerd who's doing all this stuff. But they don't think for a second that this guy's just a figurehead, a powerless puppet. The truth is, they can wheel out anybody who looks enough like this character and tell you that that's Bill Gates. But really, it's just a character on the screen. So I've actually been saying for years now, and I'm going to prove it tonight, I've been talking about this for many years, that it doesn't even look like the same Bill Gates from 10 years ago, 15 years ago. If you go back and look at old pictures of Bill Gates, you got the same thing that Joe Biden's, the same thing like with Joe Biden, where the pictures don't even look the same. Like you look at old Joe Biden and current Joe Biden, doesn't even look like the same guy. The same issue with this Bill Gates character right here. Are we even sure it's still the same guy that we're looking at anymore after all these years? All right, I'll get more into that in a minute.
Takeaway is that Gates actually acknowledged he was indeed aware of Epstein's pleading guilty to some, quote, sexually related crime in 2008. But Gates told lawmakers he regrets not digging into those legal issues further before starting a relationship with Epstein, calling it a big mistake and a big regret. Hallie.
Mel Zanona, thank you very much for that.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated.
All right. And then I got another video, another mainstream video that's short, that's a little better than that one. I'll show that real quick, and we'll break this down even more. All right. So this one's called Bill Gates Admits Affairs with 3 Women, claims Epstein tried to blackmail him. Just 3. He had an affair with only 3 women. Why not 33, right? No. Are we really going to believe some nerd like Bill Gates would sleep with 33 women? No, that's unbelievable. 3 women? Maybe the sheep will actually believe that he slept with 3 women.
The fallout of the Epstein files continues to cast a long shadow on the upper ranks of power. Billionaire Bill Gates, whose name appeared in documents reportedly released by America's Department of Justice. It's now emerged that Epstein tried to blackmail him reportedly. During his appearance before the U.S. House Oversight Committee on the 10th of June, Gates expressed regret for meeting Epstein in the first place, and he denied having victimized anyone or witnessed any criminal conduct by the convicted sex offender. He also asserted that he never visited Epstein's island. But the transcript of the testimony released by the committee reportedly has laid bare these revelations. To begin with, he allegedly admitted to having 3 extramarital affairs. This included 2 Russian women. Apart from this, he claimed to have...
So he had 3 extramarital affairs. This included 2 Russian women. And then you're just not going to tell us about the third one? He had 3 extramarital affairs, including 2 with Russian women. We will not be talking about the third woman. That will remain anonymous, right? So they got all this conspiracy bait for the normies. Ooh, Epstein. Ooh, Bill Gates, and they're connected. And, oh, blackmail in extramarital affairs. Sounds like a fucking soap opera, right? I don't know about you guys. I don't watch soap operas. I'm not into that sort of shit. That's what this is. This is like a soap opera for normies. Except they get the normies to believe that this is a real soap opera. This all happened for real. You guys, they get people to believe that the police are out there busting billionaire pedos and then airing all their dirty laundry on TV for all the sheeple to be well informed about, right? So they want you to believe that law enforcement is out there working hard, bringing down all these diabolical, evil bosses and doing investigations. And they're bringing you the inside scoop. And they serve up this inside scoop on TV, and all the normies just eat this shit up. They think this is all like 100% verified. Oh, there's a verified official transcript testimony? Well, then you know everything is 100% legit. If it's on an official transcript, an official testimony that I officially watched on my official television, this is the real stuff. So these people would reject what I'm saying, that this is just a character on the world stage. Like if I was to say, this is not a real diabolical evil genius. He's just a character on the world stage who pretends to be this evil diabolical genius. People would be like, no, that's crazy conspiracy shit. No. They would rather believe that Bill Gates is a for real diabolical evil genius rather than believe me, the guy telling them that he's just an actor reading lines, and that they switched him out back in like 2010. They switched out Bill Gates. It used to be a different guy. That's too crazy for people to wrap their minds around. Instead, they'd rather believe that here he is connected to Epstein and there's all this juicy stuff that they did together that's being revealed. That's way more exciting than them two being actors that never did any of this shit. Yeah, what a letdown to find out that they're just actors reading lines, posing for pictures, and that they can take old pictures and use AI and editing tools to create more fake pictures. They can make it look like two people hung out a long time ago in a still shot, and that's enough for the sheeple. I saw a still shot of Jeffrey and Bill, so I know for sure they did stuff on Jeff's island. All right, I got a bunch of super chats coming in, and then I'll get back to this story here. Let me knock out the super chats. We got RY says, like the other Hollywood kid actors, Elmo tells his experience of being abused by Epstein and Bill Gates when he was a young puppet. When Elmo was getting started on Sesame Street, Elmo was invited to Epstein's island, and the things that Elmo saw, Elmo can never forget. Elmo is traumatized because Elmo saw Jeffrey stick his pee-pee inside of Bill Gates' mouth. Elmo can't get that image out of Elmo's mind. All right, that's enough. Elmo, nobody wants to hear about the shit that you did on Epstein's island. That's your fault, Elmo. All right, Elmo, if you put yourself in a compromising position by going to Epstein's island, then it's your own damn fault, Elmo. As far as I'm concerned, Elmo got what he deserved. The puppet was asking for it. All right. It's ridiculous. All right. New Tartarian says, hello, Sir Jake. This is a layup super chat for pulling back the curtain on the world stage that guys like Bill Gates are a target for people to ventilate their steam. Bullseye yet again. Big thanks. So this isn't new. I've been saying this for a long time, but I know there's new people sometimes that catch these streams that haven't heard me say this. So I thought it was important, being that Bill and Jeffrey are currently one of the top stories being talked about. I figured I would go ahead and repeat myself that these are made-up characters on the world stage. And so if you see anyone talking about these characters and they don't refer to them as actors or figureheads or puppets, then that means they're useful idiots going along with the mainstream narrative, or they're trying to spin it with some alt-right take, right? So there's all these far right wing channels that like to talk about Epstein conspiracies, and they'll bring up Bill Gates and talk about him like he's some diabolical evil genius who's trying to vax your whole family and get your whole family to die of eating fake meat. Meanwhile, like, the real truth is that, like, there's diabolical evil plans being carried out, but it's not by the nerd that they show you on screen with the glasses, right? So trying to explain to people how the world stage works is hard enough, but like, there's still people running with the idea that that this diabolical evil genius Bill Gates is out there trying to depopulate the world, and he's doing it in plain sight. Nobody's trying to stop him, and oh my God, it's so scary. And that's exactly the narrative they want you to pick up and run with. And so I don't run with that at all, and I try and explain it as best I can that the character Bill Gates has absolutely zero power. He's a powerless puppet. All they need is a nerd who looks enough like Bill Gates to go on camera and say some lines every now and again. That's it. So all they need is a guy or two who looks like what you think Bill Gates looks like in your head. That's it. And of course, a hyper-realistic mask or two. So all they need is a Bill Gates mask or a guy who looks enough like Bill Gates, and they can act as if that one person is the sole entity responsible for the diabolical evil plan to depopulate the world. Meanwhile, they give the government as a whole a pass, right? So if they get you to focus your energy, your negative attention on the figurehead, then they'll get you to completely forget about the government as a whole carrying out these evil plans. And they have the public believing that there's assassins out there trying to kill the president. But how come there aren't assassins trying to kill this Bill Gates character if he's so evil? Shouldn't they script at some point a Bill Gates assassination attempt? Seems to me the script writers are wanting the sheeple to believe that this diabolical evil genius never gets attacked when he goes out in public. No one ever tries to take a shot at this guy. Interesting. So at some point now, being I just gave the script writers the idea to make it look like Bill Gates is under attack, we might see at some point in the future someone try and assassinate Bill Gates. See? And then we can credit myself for giving the script writers that idea. All right. Thank you for the layup super chat, sir. I appreciate that. And Brian on Time says, beginner ugliness is coming out through his physical persona. Beginner ugliness. BG inner ugliness is coming out through his physical persona. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. But thank you for the super chat nonetheless. Yeah, I'm a bit confused by this one. Mike Tobin Music says, Jake, can you do Billy Madison? Bill Gates is better versus Jeff Epstein is better. Spoof.
Bill Gates is better. He's gonna make us all eat fake meat, which saves the animals. No, Jeff Epstein is better. He's totally innocent and he didn't kill himself and he's actually Palm Beach. No, Bill Gates is better. Oh, really, fool? Yes, really. Wah, 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 wah. Stop looking at me, Swan.
There you go. That's ridiculous. I had to replace Bill Gates with shampoo and Jeff Epstein with conditioner to recreate that classic Billy Madison clip. It felt strange.
Bill Gates is better. No, Epstein is better. Shut up.
All right.
Put on your yarmulke. Bill Gates celebrates Hanukkah. Jeffrey Epstein Hanukkah. What a happy, happy Hanukkah.
All right. Doxological Thinker with a donation says, can you do fittest flat earther translating for Stephen Hawking? Actually, you know what? I might as well just show the video that I made. Rather than doing an impression, I think I'll just go ahead and show the video of fittest flat earther translating for Stephen Hawking. Because it actually ties into what we're talking about. Because Stephen Hawking, there's actually a secret that he's been keeping from everyone. So I'm about to blow your guys' mind right now. Those of you who watched my stream last week, you guys already know. But those of you who haven't seen it yet, there's a secret that Stephen Hawking was keeping. And I'm going to reveal it right here, right now. All right. Shh. Hey, settle down. Stop it.
Just when I thought these sneaky shapeshifters couldn't get any sneakier, that's when I came across this. Now, you might be wondering, yeah, that's Stephen Hawking. But not so fast. What if I told you this sneaky shapeshifter has been hiding a secret this whole time? Now, allow me to do a little translation. What he's really saying is, I am Bill. As in, Bill Gates. And you can clearly see the symmetry in a side-by-side comparison. See this? But yeah, you can go ahead and say that they're not the same. You know, it just honestly blows me away that these deceivers, they think they're so clever. And that's because they are the fallen angels who came to Earth and mated with the Nephilim bloodline. So they think that because they created an advanced species of humanoid, that they can get away with shapeshifting and that nobody's going to notice. But I've been noticing, and it's really been upsetting them since I've been noticing all their sneaky shapeshifting going on. And that's because I've been blessed by the Heavenly Father to see through these shapeshifters' deceptions.
There you go. I mean, you can't argue that. The proof is in the pudding. You do that side-by-side comparison. It's very clear. Bill Gates was Stephen Hawking. He no longer shapeshifts into Stephen Hawking. They want people to think that Stephen Hawking's dead, but he's not. Stephen Hawking is still alive.
He's Bill Gates. So let me do some translating for Stephen Hawking. What he's really trying to say, I am a shape-shifting entity. I am Bill.
All right. There you go. Little fittest flat earther. Decream 4D gifting 5 Jake the Awake memberships. Awesome. Thank you, brother. Fist bumps to you, sir. If you guys enjoyed that last parody video, hook your boy up with a thumbs up. It would be greatly appreciated. True Metal Jake says, what would it sound like if Asmongold had to translate for Stephen Hawking on Epstein's Island? Holy shit, what the fuck, you guys? Like, low-key, the stuff that Stephen Hawking just told me, you guys are not going to believe. Like, bro, the stuff that went down on Epstein's Island, like, oh my God, you guys, you're not going to believe this. Holy shit. He said that he saw, low-key, bro, you're not going to believe this. He said that he saw Bill Gates and Jeffrey Epstein and that they were doing the deed, so to speak. This is crazy. I mean, can you guys believe this? This is seriously some fucked up shit right here. I'm not going to lie. Bro, can you believe this? And it was on Epstein's Island. I never would have guessed that Stephen Hawking was the type of guy to go to Epstein's Island, but I guess I was wrong. All right. So let's get back on track. All right, check this out. All right, so up top, we got 2010 Bill Gates and Melinda Gates. And then down low, we got, I think that was like 2019, 2020, Bill Gates and Melinda Gates. I mean, to me, it looks like they swapped out Bill and Melinda back in like 2010, 11, 12, somewhere around there. And then they were running with this newer version of Bill Gates and Melinda. And then in like 2021, they got a divorce. And now it's just Bill. And when you compare the old Bill and the new Bill, I see differences. Like, I feel like they swapped this character out a long time ago. And that new Bill almost looks younger than old Bill from back in like 2010, right? He's got less wrinkles, looks younger and healthier. So in my opinion, they swapped out Bill Gates a long time ago. So I've actually made content talking about how I think that it's not the same Bill Gates. And that's how I came to the conclusion that this is a puppet actor on the world stage. So once I come to the conclusion that it's just some nerd actor with glasses who they have appear on camera from time to time, and they call that character Bill Gates. Once I came to that conclusion, I can never be scared into thinking that this person is trying to kill me or depopulate the world. You see what I'm saying? So once I come to the conclusion that this is just a character on the world stage to scare the sheeple and the normies, that this is the diabolical evil genius personally responsible for the depopulation agenda. So I can't ever buy into that. Nobody can ever get me to go along with that because I've already come to the conclusion that they replaced the original Bill Gates a long time ago. And the current Bill Gates is just some actor reading some lines. So obviously I'm not going to be afraid or take an actor seriously that he's personally going to depopulate the world. Instead, I'm more worried about the evil agendas being carried out by the government as a whole. And I'm not gonna put my attention on this character on the world stage and blame him. You see? Hold on one sec. Sorry, there's somebody talking like right outside my door. So turn my fan on to try and muffle it. Anyway, so what do you guys think here? Do these look like the same people to you? Give me your guys' honest opinion right here. Like, does it look like they swapped out Bill and Melinda? All right, you guys are ruining the surprise. Don't ruin the surprise. I was going to show that next. So a lot of you guys have been following me for years, and you already know what I'm going to say about the bottom picture. But some people here have maybe never heard me talk about this before, and so I know it's going to blow their mind when I pull up Kevin Kline here in a minute. But to me, it just looks like they swapped out the original Bill Gates a long time ago, and it's obvious. And so when I see these channels in 2026 still acting like Bill Gates is a diabolical, evil billionaire who wants to depopulate the world, it's like, holy shit, they haven't figured out that he's just a figurehead? At the very least, even if you think it's the same guy, at the very least, you should know he's an actor, a puppet who doesn't have any actual power. But that narrative is still being pushed. And so a lot of like alt-right channels, these conservative wannabe conspiracy channels, they'll push conspiracy propaganda about Bill Gates. So I even see things about like genetically modified ticks are invading the Midwest. Oh my God, there's a bunch of genetically modified ticks, and they'll say that it's because of Bill Gates. And so they can blame Bill Gates for like any stupid thing these days and get the sheeple to believe it. So they can be like, oh, all the fake meat, it's because of Bill Gates. The depopulation agenda, well, that's Bill Gates. The bioengineered GMO ticks that are being set loose in the Midwest, Bill Gates. See? So there's all these different evil conspiracies that are essentially bullshit that they can point at Bill Gates as the evil overlord, the one who's responsible for all of it. So I'm not going to say that there aren't these evil agendas at play. There definitely are to some degree, but I'm not going to take their bait that this nerd who they show us on screen is the one responsible for it. But still a lot of people do, right? Like it's easier for people to believe that Bill Gates is trying to kill them and their family than it is for them to believe me that it's not even the same guy and it's just some guy who looks like what they think Bill Gates looks like, appearing on camera and playing the role of this character. That's not as fun as believing that he's actually this evil bad guy who wants to kill you and your family. All right. So I actually made a video about this like over 5 years ago. And so when I saw this story about Bill and Epstein, it reminded me of a video I put out a long time ago. And I thought, you know what? Tonight would be a good night to go back and revisit one of my old videos. So here's an old video from when Bill and Melinda got a divorce. And I started talking about how it looked like they got swapped out. So just to show you guys proof of how long I've been talking about this, here's Bill and Linda Call It Quits from May 2021. So 5 years ago. And away we go.
Hello, I am Jake the Asshole investigative reporter, checking in with some late breaking news. Bill and Melinda Gates are ending their marriage after 27 years. Wow, who didn't see that coming? I mean, those two look like they have been so madly in love this whole time. I mean, every time I see these two on camera, they always look like they love each other so much. I mean, I can picture old Bill just giving it to Melinda all night long. I'm surprised these two are calling it quits. Shocker. Okay, let's get serious for a second. Are we really going to pretend like these two people in the top photo are the same two people in the bottom photo? Let's get serious. The two people in the top photo from the early 2000s seem to be long gone, and now they have these other two actors playing the role of Bill and Melinda, and no one seems to notice. Take a close look. These are not the same people, obviously. And if you really want to have your brain ripped out of your asshole and turned inside out, then just head on over to Google and type in Kevin Kline, Melinda Gates. Once you see it, you can never unsee it. Yeah, exactly. And it seems to me the best reason these two would get divorced.
There you go. Melinda, Kevin Kline. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Look at this schnoz. Look at this schnoz. Look at this grin. Look at this grin. Hello. Yeah. So when this started to come out and guys like me started to point it out, it didn't take but 6 months or so, less than a year for them to get divorced. So they swapped them out And then when more people like, myself started to notice and then make content about it, then that's when they had them get a divorce, and then they pulled the Melinda character off the world stage. Now you rarely ever hear from the Manlinda character anymore. But just pointing out, at one time, it appeared that this character was played by Kevin Kline. So we may have back in like the early 2000s actually had a guy known as Bill Gates with a wife known as Melinda, but perhaps they sold their image and likeness to the government for some ungodly amount of money. And then the government used their image and likeness to do this. And then when people figured out that this is Kevin Kline, then they just swept Manlinda under the rug, and now they just have Bill flying solo. So I'm not sure what the process is of how they get rid of the first version of Bill Gates, like where they go. Is he dead? Is he like, what happens to him? That I have no idea. I'm always left wondering what happens to the original. But it's clear that like these two 10 years later, looking like these two, sorry, it doesn't work that way. It's not how it works. So there you go. I've been calling this out for a long time.
Best reason these two would get divorced, quote unquote, is because less and less people were buying the notion that they were a legit couple, obviously. But I'm just some crazy conspiracy theorist comedian. So you shouldn't listen to me. You should do your own research and come to your own conclusions.
That's right. I agree with me. You should do your own research, come to your own conclusions. Now, there's people out there that will hand wave all this and be like, oh no, it's still the same Bill as it always was. It's still the same Melinda as it always was. But of course, to come to that conclusion, you have to kind of dismiss all these characters being replaced on the world stage and act as if it's not happening, when clearly a lot of characters on the world stage are no longer the same person who they used to be, that these characters get swapped out all the time. And here I am. I'm still like one of the only channels that points this out, right? So 2021, I pointed out that they swapped out Bill Gates and swapped out Melinda Gates. And so here we are in 2026, and I still see channels running this narrative that,
oh my God, Bill Gates is an evil, diabolical genius, and he set loose a bunch of GMO ticks in the Midwest. Asshole Bill Gates with his GMO ticks.
It's like, hey, wait, which Bill Gates are you talking about? The one that they show now on screen? So I went back and I look up like Bill Gates 2010, and this is a 2010 image of Bill Gates and Melinda. And I take a look, and then I compare what he looked like back then to like current 2026 Bill Gates. And I'm like, am I 100% sure that this is the same guy? No, I'm not. In fact, I don't think it is. So can I prove to you somehow, like, do I have some sort of verified proof that this is for sure not the same guy? No, I don't. But my opinion is this person who they show us now is not the same Bill Gates that we started with. So I can't ever be scared of this nerd and believe that he's depopulating the world, because I see it as just an actor on screen. So I'm not going to get afraid of an actor on screen who I know doesn't have any power and who I know is not actually carrying out any evil plans at all. And so I look at these characters completely different. Whereas people who haven't figured out how the world stage works, they still view these characters as something to be afraid of or get mad at or focus on. And it's not just Bill Gates. So people still think that Elon Musk is actually in charge of SpaceX, is actually in charge of X, and that he's actually the boss and owner of those companies. So people haven't figured out that Elon Musk is a figurehead. So there's a whole lot of figureheads who don't really have any power. And most people haven't figured that out at all. So if you ask most people, they think Trump makes decisions and has a bunch of power. They think Elon Musk is a trillionaire who has a ton of power. Meanwhile, it's like Elon Musk is a figurehead who they have out in front of these companies. Meanwhile, SpaceX fakes space missions, just like the government fakes space missions. In fact, the government, NASA, and SpaceX have worked together many, many, many times to fake space missions. And so the popular narrative is never how Elon Musk fakes space missions and dupes the public. You never hear the right-wing alternative conspiracy channels talking about how Elon Musk is a figurehead puppet who's used to dupe the public, and they do fake space missions with SpaceX, and SpaceX is tied in with NASA. NASA is the government, so therefore the government is SpaceX. The government is the one responsible for putting someone like Elon Musk on your TV screen. So it isn't just Bill Gates who's a fake figurehead. It isn't just Elon Musk. It isn't just Trump. It's like all these puppets on the world stage. None of them have any real power to do anything to us. So the people who really have the power, who really make decisions, they aren't going to put themselves out there for us to even know who they really are. So the ones who really tell these puppets what to do, they're going to be back in the shadows. They're not going to reveal themselves. So that's why they have these puppets there, to convince people that the evil and atrocity going on in the world is because of these evil sons of bitches like Trump and Elon Musk and Bill Gates, Fauci, whoever, right? So as long as they got some lightning rod for your negativity, that's where they know the sheeple are going to aim their negativity at one of these figurehead fake puppets that they have. All right. All right. Kat says Biden has been dead for many years. Even during his presidency, his inauguration was his farewell tribute, complete with 21 gun salute. So when it comes to what happens to the original, like what happened to the original Joe Biden, we can speculate that he died, and he may have died from natural causes for all we know. So the original Joe Biden could have died of a heart attack for all we know. That's the thing, is we have to be honest with ourselves that we don't know what happened to the original Joe Biden. We don't know what happened to the original Bill Gates. We don't know what happened to the original Trump. We don't know what happened to the original Dave Chappelle. So whenever somebody gets replaced, there's no way to know for sure what happens to the original. And so I've always been honest with you guys, like it may be a different circumstance for each celebrity that gets replaced. So somebody like Joe Biden may have died naturally. Somebody like Dave Chappelle may have got offered X amount of dollars for his to sell his likeness and name. Or maybe perhaps Dave sold his soul a long time ago to be a part of Hollywood in the beast system. And perhaps they whacked him and took him out because he was going against the grain and didn't do what he was told. So I tend to think that these celebrities who get replaced, that some of them will sell off their likeness. Like perhaps they take a certain amount of money and then they get to disappear out of the public eye. And then their image and likeness gets to be used by the beast system in any way it sees fit. So what happens to these original celebs, politicians, athletes, what have you? You know, where do they get to go after they scripted die or once they get replaced? I have no idea. So I'm always left wondering that myself, and all we can do is speculate. So rather than me give you some answer that I'm not sure of, I'm just honest with you when I tell you I'm speculating. I don't know for sure. I don't know for sure if the original Joe Biden died. I figure the original Joe Biden is dead and that they were using multiple actors and AI during his entire presidency. But I can't say that for sure, you know? So there could be a chance that the original Joe Biden is alive, but he is old and suffering from dementia and being taken care of on Celebrity Island, right? So who knows? And there's really no way to figure that out, which sucks. As much as I would like to get to the bottom of what happened to the original in all these circumstances, there's no way for me to figure that part out. It's like I'm one of the only guys who spots that someone gets replaced, and then I'm able to explain it and make content about it. But I have to admit that I have no idea what happens to the original. Brian on Time says Elon Musk could end worldwide starvation. Well, the character Elon Musk isn't actually as rich as you would believe, right? So they have people believing that Elon Musk is a trillionaire, like he has this bank account with all these zeros in it, right? He's got like $1 trillion just sitting in an account, right? And he has access to just infinity money. So they want people to believe that, but really it's the government who's really in control, and they got these puppet figureheads who they wheel out for us and get people convinced that they're the ones making important decisions, like they have any pull or power or influence at all. And so they get you to steer completely clear of thinking about the Federal Reserve. So shouldn't we be looking at like the Federal Reserve and saying that they're the ones who could end world starvation, right? They can print money into existence. They can create money out of thin air. So the ones who are responsible for creating the money out of thin air, they could end worldwide starvation if they wanted to. And so they're the ones who employ and have control over these puppets and figureheads like Elon Musk. But see, the public never focuses their energy and attention on people involved with the ones who print the money. The common sheeple at home would rather believe that Trump and Elon and Bill Gates are the ones, ruining the world. They're the ones making all the terrible decisions, rather than look at the banksters. And that's all by design, of course. Most people don't know jack shit about the Federal Reserve or how any of that works at all. One of the ways you can keep them distracted from ever looking into it or figuring it out is by having a bunch of conspiracy propaganda to keep them entertained. Have a bunch of rabbit holes for them to go down. Jeffrey Epstein rabbit hole, Bill Gates rabbit hole, Trump and Israel rabbit hole. They get you to go down all these conspiracy rabbit holes. Meanwhile, they don't get people to, they keep people from figuring out the simple things that, like, oh, space missions are being faked. Oh, this world isn't what they told us it is. They're lying about our everyday existence in this realm. Everything that they've told us about this realm that we live in is essentially a lie. See, people never get to those bigger, juicier conspiracies because they're stuck looking into the conspiracy propaganda being served up on television about the supposed pedo activity of Epstein and Bill Gates and all these high-profile celebrities and politicians who visited his island. All right. Maximilian says, I can't stand the sheeple. It's right in front of their faces and they can't see a thing. And, you know, I've tried to like explain it as basic as I can and make it as easy to understand as possible. But if they don't have a fundamental understanding of the world stage, trying to explain it to them, it's almost impossible. So explaining to somebody, you know, something simple like the moon landing being fake, or you know, 9/11 being professional demolition, that's almost easier than trying to explain that all these people are actors on a world stage playing characters and they can replace characters with other actors. It just seems way too over the top to be true. But that's what's going on. And it is, it's obvious, it's so clear, it's happening right in front of people's faces. But most people, they don't see the world stage. So they might, if they're lucky, only see through maybe one or two conspiracies, right? They might actually figure out a few deceptions, but they can't as a whole figure out all these people on their television screen are actors reading lines, playing a role of a character. All right. So another story that I didn't cover a whole lot was that Carmelo Anthony story. And it was because I found it to be boring personally. I think it's like just regular rage race bait for normies. So it's just like a division psyop, the Carmelo Anthony deal. And so rather than like make videos telling you guys that it's a psyop to create division, I just kind of left that one alone. But they did release some body cam footage and some footage of Carmelo Anthony supposedly running around with a knife. So I figure I can show that tonight and we can take a quick look at that, since it was kind of a big story and I didn't really cover it. So apparently this is the arrest footage, the body cam footage of Carmelo Anthony being arrested.
If somebody is shooting the victim, they need to be over there. Under a memorial tent. Don't reach for anything, all right, man? Stop right there for me. Dispatch 443. I got the suspects, and they're currently treating the victim. Again, he's on the north end of the stadium. All right. Any weapons on you like that? Oh, look here. Copy. I'll be in route. Y'all back up a little bit. Come over here for me. Come over here. I'm gonna put your handcuffs for now, okay?
So one thing I notice is like this essentials fear of God. It's almost like they purposely wanted to put this in the camera lens. So when I see something like this, I don't think of it as coincidence or accident. So they, for some reason, want the public to see this. Essentials, fear of God. So this Carmelo Anthony character has the same name as a basketball player, Carmelo Anthony, except the basketball player's name was spelled with a C, and this guy's name is spelled with a K. So the same name as a basketball player. And then the basketball player, Carmelo Anthony, he played for the Knicks for a while. And the Knicks won the NBA Finals for the first time in over 50 years while this case was going on. And I think that Carmelo Anthony, the basketball player, even got like inducted into the Hall of Fame while this was all going on. Oh, let me pull that up real quick. So yeah, there's a Hall of Famer named Carmelo Anthony, played for the New York Knicks, and then while the Knicks were winning the finals, this kid Carmelo Anthony and his murder case is like the most popular story. So what are the odds that this guy has the same name as a basketball player who happens to play for an NBA team that just so happened to be winning the finals while this story was at its peak? So just that alone to me is total proof that it's scripted. But sheeple like to think that that's just crazy coincidence, and that coincidences like that happening are totally normal. Oh, it's totally normal for someone to name their kid the same name as a famous athlete. And it's just a total coinkydink that this murder story was like popping off. The murder case was at its peak, at its most popular, right when the Knicks were winning the NBA championship. And then the Knicks used to have a player named Carmelo Anthony playing for that team. I mean, it'd be different if the Knicks weren't in the finals or if the kid wasn't named Carmelo Anthony. But just the fact that all those things lined up, I find completely strange. I find very strange. Now, as far as like this Essentials Fear of God on his shirt, I'm not sure exactly what to make of it. What do you guys think about this Fear of God thing here? This message on his shirt. They're doing this on purpose.
Dispatch 443. Everybody can slow down. I got the alleged suspect in handcuffs right now, detained.
Everyone else can slow down. Suspect detained in handcuffs.
Hold on. You can open up the channel, and medics are clear to come in. Have them come to the northeast entrance. That's gonna be a gate that's wide open there, and then you come to the victim from there. This is the alleged suspect. All right, okay. We'll figure that in a minute. So nothing on your person at all? Nothing? Mind if I reach in your pockets and stuff and all that? Nothing gonna stab me? Not bad.
I'm going to be out with this.
A little personal there, okay? Just to make sure. Okay.
All right, so very boring, bland stuff. Not a lot you can get from this, but, you know, this is like a popular video that a bunch of people think, you know, this proves that this event actually happened. So a lot of people fell for this psyop, and to me, it's just typical race bait for the normies, created to cause division between whites and blacks. So to me, it was a boring story, and all the clips that I looked up were boring, very uneventful. So another video that came out shows like this very far away view of Carmelo Anthony running around, but it's like this really low quality footage. And of course, low quality footage, that's like common now in 2026. You get this low quality footage of the supposed stabbing, but you can't make heads or tails out of any of it. So I'll show you another video that came out recently, which you can't actually see anyone getting stabbed. You don't get to see anything, but anyone who watches it thinks that that's what they saw. So they can convince sheeple into thinking that they watched a stabbing video. So here's another video that they released. I don't know if any of you guys watched this, but it's really boring stuff, and it's far away, low quality, pixelated. Let me speed it up. So at this point, I was trying to find like, where does the stabbing happen? Like, and then they show one of the guys running. I guess this is Carmelo Anthony here. They show this suspect here lit up with this white circle. So then this guy takes off running, which almost looks strange. Almost like this was maybe AI generated, possibly. I don't know. And there's no sound or anything. So it's this far away, out of focus, low quality video. This reminds me a lot of like the stuff that they showed from the Renee Good shooting. They'd show you like a far away replay. You don't really see anything happen, but people are convinced that they saw something happen. So yeah, pretty boring stuff. So when I was looking at this, I was like, I'm not even sure what I'm supposed to do with this footage. It's really boring and uneventful, and you don't really actually see anything go down. So yeah, Carmelo Anthony shit. Now you guys can see why I got bored. Some rage bait, racial division story. A boring psyop that I just had no interest in. All right. RY wants an impression that combines. You know what, RY or anybody out there, I honestly don't ever want to talk about Q ever again. I find the guy to be a total piece of shit, and he's not worthy of any of my attention at all anymore. And so I really don't ever want to give him any attention. And so I don't want to do impressions of him. I really don't want people to bring him up and have me like do these impressions, because it just fuels the whole like negativity, and it just reminds me of what went down, and what he did. And so I kind of just want to forget about him and move on, and he's not really worth my time and energy. So from now on, can you guys please not ask me to do an impression of Q? I don't like the guy. The video that he made, or videos that he made about me, are the most disgusting, vile, nasty videos. It's like the nastiest shit anyone's ever said about me. And so I kind of just don't ever want to talk about him ever again. And so RY, I'm going to have to pass on this one. I honestly will do any other impression that you want, but I don't want to talk about a guy who's made content claiming that I have sex with animals. So he's made content claiming that I have sex with my dog. He used AI to make me say that I have sex with animals and dogs. He used AI to make me have like my face on a woman's body and make me say a bunch of deplorable, horrible stuff. I don't like him. And the fact that we had a disagreement and he chose to do that, I don't really want to think about it, and I don't want to bring him up and do impressions, which is just going to cause him to make more horrible, deplorable content about me. So please, RY and anyone else, I don't ever want to talk about the guy ever again, and I don't want to do impressions of him, and I don't want to think about him ever again. So RY, with all due respect, I'll give you a refund on this one, or you can make a separate request. But fuck that dude. He doesn't even deserve me doing an impression of him. I'm rigged says, no matter how hard I try, can't get off the sauce. Southern Ohio IPAs are just too good. Fuck. Yeah, man, that's a tough deal. Alcohol's very addictive, and it's a very hard substance to give up. And I can go weeks without it, months without it, and then out of nowhere, I'll just end up buying, a few beers or a few seltzers or something. And so sometimes when I have the urge, I'll break down and I'll be like, oh, I haven't drank in like a month. And then I'll buy a couple seltzers and drink them. And they'll usually make me feel like shit. Like the buzz starts out okay. And then after a few hours, it makes me kind of feel shitty, like tired and slow. And so the last time I drank just a couple seltzers, it made me feel shitty, kind of headachy, tired and slow. And it's like, why do I even do this anymore? And so I'm one of these guys that I rarely ever drink anymore, but every once in a while I get the urge. And then when I cave in and I buy the alcohol and I even just drink a little bit, it typically after a few hours just makes me feel like shitty and tired. And then I'm like, why did I do that? So at some point, I think I'm going to get tired of making myself feel shitty every now and again by drinking it. So at some point, I think I'll give it up for good. But yeah, every now and again, I find myself drinking that shit only to regret it. So the good news is it feels like I'll be quitting for good soon. But yeah, man, my addictive nature, there's like this thing where like the addict in me will tell myself that it's a reward. Like if I'm out at the beach, let's say walking on the beach, the addict in me will be like, oh, you should reward yourself with the alcoholic beverage because you haven't had one in so long. You can drink one or two and you'll catch a buzz and it'll feel good and you don't have to worry about it because you haven't been drinking, right? So the addict in me will convince myself that since I haven't drank in a month, that having one will be good and will make me feel good, right? So that's how I end up talking myself into it. So then I have the one and it starts to feel good, but then the second one is when the buzz starts to go south. So yeah, man, that's the problem with not drinking for weeks or months at a time, is then just a little bit of alcohol will start to affect you. And then you drink just a little bit too much. It's like, oh man, can't believe I just made myself feel like shit after I haven't drank this stuff in months. Here I talked myself into drinking this shit. So I have the other problem, man, that like every so often I feel like I want it. And then when I do, I regret it. And then I like almost beat myself up for making the bad decision, right? Then I get down on myself for buying it. LaFleur Network says, shout out to Truth Seekers here in the live chat. Smash that thumbs up button for Jake the Awake, #1 truther source right here on YouTube. Thank you, Davey D. I appreciate that. Hey, if you guys enjoyed the stream tonight, hook a brother up with a thumbs up. I got started a little late, so I won't keep you guys too late tonight. So it'll be a little shorter of a stream tonight. So hook a brother up with a thumbs up, and I appreciate the super chat, Davey D. Davey D is a longtime supporter of the channel. Good to see you here tonight, buddy. And Lint Away Duct Cleaning says, on the talk of sports, Super Bowl 2027 prediction. Oh, geez. I don't know. A part of me thinks that perhaps they'll put the Chiefs back in there. I'm thinking I don't know. I'll say Chiefs and Rams. I don't know. And I'm just throwing out a guess. Don't anybody go blow your life savings betting on that. Like, oh, Jake picked this, so maybe it'll happen. Like, I didn't put any time into making that prediction at all. And it's very early, and the games are completely scripted and phony. So don't trust my prediction. Just letting you guys know right now. I pulled that prediction out of my ass right here on the spot. So please do not go betting big money on what I just predicted. Now, if that prediction happens to come true, I will gladly take credit and celebrate. So if I'm lucky enough to get it right, you will definitely see me bragging. But if I don't get it right, hey, you know, the games are fake and scripted, and it's the off season. So there you go. Lady D says WC is truly playing on the world stage. Awesome, strange activities everywhere. UFC, White House, Knicks winning. C. Davis is now dead. Yes, all these events going on the world stage right now. You had the UFC fights out in front of the White House, the scripted Knicks winning, and I'm not even sure who C. Davis is, but whoever it is, I'm glad he's dead. To hell with that guy. But yes, all these events are definitely scripted out ahead of time. None of these things happen organically. These sporting events that have a betting line, they're not going to let Joe Blow, sports gambler, bet on the team that's better or on the fighter that's better and win easy money. So they always have to have those crazy upsets that can take place at any moment, where the underdog can upset the favorite at any point. Those live betting traps where it looks like one team has the game in the bag and then the losing team comes back miraculously and wins. Yep. It's all there designed to take your money. And they've gotten really good at taking the public's money. And there's a sucker born every day. And so the sports gambling industry is bigger than it's ever been. And so I'm thinking that this next NFL season, they're probably going to try and set a betting trap for the Super Bowl, because last year's Super Bowl, they didn't get as much bets as the years before. So this last Super Bowl, the Seahawks and Patriots didn't draw as many bets as the year before with the Chiefs and Eagles. So my thoughts are that they'll probably have two more popular teams that will draw more bets in the Super Bowl this year, to make up for the fact that last year New England versus Seattle wasn't really as popular of a matchup as the 2-3 years before that, which featured bigger Super Bowl matchups. So I'm thinking that if they want to make up for the gambling revenue that they didn't make last year, that this next season we might see some sort of gigantic live betting trap. So one of the biggest live betting traps of all time is when New England Patriots went undefeated the whole season and went to the Super Bowl. They were gigantic favorites. The public was all over the Patriots to win that Super Bowl against the New York Giants. And then, of course, the New York Giants with Eli Manning upset the Patriots in that Super Bowl. So that was one of those matchups where the sports books made a killing. So my guess is that to make up for the lost revenue that they didn't make on this last Super Bowl, which was kind of a dud, this next one, they'll probably have two more popular teams in there. So you might see like a gigantic upset in this next Super Bowl. But who knows? We'll have to wait and see. All right. RY says, sorry, Jake. I thought I heard you do an impression of him again recently. I won't ask again for this. I haven't really seen his videos. So, brother, I know you had no way of knowing that, but here's the problem is like what happens is then he makes videos and he attacks Holden and he attacks Davey D and he attacks me. And so it gives him fuel. And so I don't want to give him any fuel. I don't want to give him any attention at all. I just want to forget all about him and leave him as an irrelevant person from the past that doesn't matter anymore, right? And so when I did last time I did an impression of him, then he went and he made an attack video against Holden. So the guy is such a piece of shit that he will go after someone like Holden who has disabilities, and he'll make like videos attacking Holden's disabilities, like just really vile, nasty things. And so I'm not trying to give the guy any attention at all because it seems like that's what he wants. So no need to apologize, brother. I know you just want me to do funny impressions. And so when I did it last time, Davey asked me to do an impression of him making, fun of me. And it felt strange. I got to be honest, to do an impression of Jaron and Q hating on me means I have to pretend to be them disliking me. And so I have to put myself in their shoes and think of how they feel about me. So it's like I have to feel their hatred for me. And so it's strange to try and do a comedic impression where I have to pretend to be people who hate me and then pretend to be them hating me. And so it made me feel weird last time. And I was even going to tell Davey and message him that from now on, I don't want to do that, because right after that, Q uploaded a video on his backup channel, going after Holden. And so I don't want to participate in that sort of thing. It's a waste of time and energy. And the only people who would even get it are people who follow these streams a lot. And so there's only like a small amount of people who even keep up with what was said and what was done, because it happened a while ago. And so being as this already happened, all this drama between me and him, it already happened. It's already done and over with. I don't like him anymore. I don't want to talk about him anymore. I don't want to have to, after all this time, after a year goes by, a year and a half goes by, I don't want to have to revisit that drama and flame that old drama and give him a reason to keep making vile content about me or about Holden or about Davey. So there you go, man. I know you didn't mean anything wrong by it, and your heart was in the right place. You just wanted me to do a funny impression, but can't do it, man. Now you know why. I'm being completely honest with you guys. Linked Away Duct Cleaning says, NFL super fan impression, please. Oh, you want me to do what was the guy's name? Tom Grossi. So Tom Grossi got an award from the commissioner of the NFL. And so I think you want me to do a Tom Grossi impression. I really hope that the Packers go to the Super Bowl this next year. I mean, we have a lot of great players. I'm really happy with all of the players that we drafted in the draft. And I cheered when I heard that we drafted a new wide receiver. I was so happy. I'm so glad that we got a new target for our quarterback. I think that we are going to be really good this year because we drafted some really great players. So I'm pretty sure that we are going to go to the playoffs this year. And when I say we, I like to think that I help when I watch. When I watch the games, I cheer so hard that I think I help the players. I think I help them to get more motivated. So I think because I'm so positive and I cheer so much for my favorite team that I actually increase my chances, the team's chances of winning. So I include myself with the team when they win. I say we. So I can't wait for the Packers to start this next season by winning their first game of the season. I hope that we go to the Super Bowl again. It's been a while since we've won a championship. Last time we won the Super Bowl, I actually cried literal tears of joy. It was the happiest day of my life last time we won the Super Bowl. And by we, I got drunk and I watched TV. I watched the Packers on TV win the Super Bowl. And once they finished winning the Super Bowl, I decided to include myself. It was the happiest day of my life when we won the Super Bowl. Yeah. I really hope that we get a new tight end. You know, the tight end that we got, he's okay, but I really think that we should draft this new tight end from Ohio State. If we can get that new tight end from Ohio State, there's a real chance that we could go to the playoffs, maybe even win this. All right. Gotta love the guys who say we. All right. DL Observer says White House UFC fight card scripted. What are the poly market odds payout if someone bet all fights end with a KO? Previous 362 events never ended in all KOs. So to answer your first question, yes, the UFC is scripted. Anything where you can bet money on, especially if you can bet on it live while it's happening, then it is scripted. So even though it appears to be two guys beating each other's brains in, one guy can just pretend to be hurt and go down at any point. So one guy can just eat a shot, pretend to be rocked. He goes down. Another dude will just jump on top of him, hit him a few more times, and then the ref can step in and stop it at any moment. At any point, one guy can just purposely give up his arm and tap out. So at any point, a guy can purposely leave his neck out there, you know, so that he can get caught in a choke. So there's a number of ways you can script a fight. You can have two guys, you know, wrestle and go the distance. And then you can have the judges just put the arm up of one of the guys and people can throw a fit and say, hey, that fighter didn't actually win, you know, and then the upset fans can blame the judges for a bad decision. So they can make it look like one guy's winning the whole time and then have the fight go the distance. And then the judges just claim that the other fighter won. So between the judges and the fighters and the money being bet, yeah, all the fights that the UFC puts on are definitely scripted. And as far as the odds of all the fights ending in a KO, I have no idea what the odds were on any of the fights. I didn't watch any of the fights, and I didn't bet on any of the fights, so I didn't check what any of the odds were on any of the matchups. So I would reckon all the fights ending in a KO, that the odds against that happening would be pretty crazy, right? So if you were to have bet on that sort of thing and then it happened, I guess you could have made a lot of money. But, you know, in the NFL, they have things that never went down before that'll all of a sudden happen randomly on a given week, you know, so they can have some historic event that never happened before be scripted to happen on any given week in any given sporting event. And then they can keep people thinking that this is a organic event and that these events are happening naturally. So they have to script something that's never happened before every so often to keep people thinking that anything could happen. See how that works? So in the NFL, they'll be like, oh, this team has never had a blocked field goal at this stadium ever until just now in this game. It's the first time that this team ever blocked a field. So there's always these historical first time moments. Like there's usually one of those that happens every season. Somebody will do something historical. So script writers with these sports will actually sit around and think about this and come up with a certain game or a certain event where somebody's going to do something historic. And they do that specifically to get ratings and views and give the sports analysts on TV something to talk about and keep people thinking that, you know, anything can happen at these sporting events. All right. RY says, extended land on the moon 49ers guy rant. All right, RY. Beings I haven't sang Land on the Moon in a long time, I'm going to sing the full version of Land on the Moon. It's a classic tune that nobody has requested in a while. So sadly, Land on the Moon, it's being forgotten. But right here, right now, I'm going to sing Land on the Moon so that so that people don't forget about it. And I'll do the 49ers guy rant for you as well. So without further ado, land on the moon, we land on the moon, land on the moon, we land on the moon, land on the moon, we land on the moon. Hey, take it over, we go to the moon, and then you know that we come back soon. Roof to the top, roof down low. We rove so much we got no place to rove. We land on the moon, we land on the moon, land on the moon, land on the moon, land on the moon, we land on the moon. And yes, my friend, we will come back soon. We take it over, roof to the moon. Yes, you know we're gonna come back soon. Roof to the left, roof to the right, cause beach you know that we rove all night. We land on the moon, we land on the moon, land on the moon, we land on the moon, land on the moon, we land on the moon, we row, row, row. Everybody say row, row, row. Oh, come on, my friend, row, row, row. Everybody say row, row, row. Oh, come on now, row, 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 rover, row, row, row. Row, 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 rover, row. There you go. I haven't sang that in a while. So there you go. Dusting off some Land on the Moon. And let me tell you, I am very much excited for me and Shabir for the opening game at the 49er Stadium. This is the season that the 49er is going to win the Super Bowl, my friend. I am sick and tired of the 49er getting all the way to the Super Bowl and then they fucking lose. I am going to lose my fucking mind, my friend, if I have to sit through another 49er Super Bowl loss. That is why in 2026, my friend, this is the year of the 49er. This is the year, my friend. The 49er will win the Super Bowl, and me and Shabir, we're going to celebrate good times. Come on, my friend. There you go. Land on the Moon and the 49ers rant. Just for you, buddy. All right. All right. There you go, Rye. Hopefully the song and impression make up for the fact that I had to reject your your Q impression. All right. Thank you very much, RY, for all the multiple super chats tonight. You've sent several. So thank you for all the different super chats coming in tonight, buddy. I appreciate it. And he says, no worries. Jake the Awake, I still feel like an asshole. Nah, you're not an asshole, bro. You know, there's people who want me to do, impressions of all sorts of different people. You had no way of knowing, and so now you know. So no big deal, bro. All right. So I was watching this video earlier of this Carmelo Anthony character running around. And I was like, man, this could really use some background music. It's really boring, right? Nothing going on here. Like doop 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 and then when you see him running, all right, so there you go. Did that make it more interesting? Yes, Mario was a psyop. Also, Luigi Mangione, another psyop. That was another one that the sheep fell for. Luigi Mangione! He's a hero because he killed some CEO guy. I love Luigi Mangione because he killed someone. He's so cool. Remember when the sheep fell for that shit? Yeah, a little Mario action. Yes, I agree, Rosebell. Everybody make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Lint Away Duct Cleaning says, Jake, thanks for a decade. Let's see another 10. Well, I hope YouTube's still around in another 10 years and that I'm still here in another 10 years. The news cycle's been pretty boring lately, so it's been a challenge the last few weeks to try and find something even worth talking about. So if it seems like I haven't really been posting much lately, well, I honestly have been struggling a little bit trying to figure out what it is I'm supposed to talk about. So today was like the first day where there was like a news story that I felt like I could cover and make a point, you know? So the last couple of weeks has been like a really boring news cycle. And it just seems like I've been waiting for something more juicy, like a better psyop to cover. And like the week goes by and there wasn't really that much of of any exciting news stories to cover. And I was like, shit. I hope something exciting goes down soon, because this current news cycle is boring. And it's actually messing with me and the content that I want to make, because the news cycle was so shitty and so boring that I didn't even know what to talk about. So I might try uploading some new type of content, talking about some new shit if this continues. Like if the scripted news cycle continues to be this boring, I'm going to have to talk about some new subjects and experiment with some new content, upload some different styles of content for you guys. So I don't know. We'll see. But the last couple of weeks, man, the scripted news cycle has just been so damn boring. So thank you, Lintaway Duct Cleaning, for the super chat, buddy. I appreciate it. DL Observer says, Erica Kirk, so much material there daily. Yeah, for shill channels that want to pump a bunch of conspiracy propaganda about how she was involved with Charlie's death. Dude, I've said this so many times. Erica is just an actor. She purposely does the crazy eyes to get people to buy into conspiracy theory propaganda that she was somehow involved in killing her husband. So I can't stand Erica Kirk shit that these other channels, these wannabe truther channels, these shill channels are posting specifically just to get views. I hate that content. In fact, it pisses me off. So you're not going to see me just for clicks make some video about Erica Kirk. In fact, I despise that type of content. And I've even told you guys in these live streams that I don't like channels that do that. They're fucking shills for making that sort of content. So Erica Kirk is an actor. Charlie's not dead. So why would I want to listen to any sort of government-approved conspiracy theory being pushed by some shill channel about how Erica's possibly involved in her husband's death, or she was some honeypot for Charlie, right? I'm not even sure they were a real couple. They probably were a fake couple, as far as we know. So yeah, me making a video about how she's an actor on the world stage and she didn't kill her husband and her husband's not dead. Yeah. See, I'll say that in a video, but if I say that in a video, hardly anyone outside my subscriber base would see it or watch it. That's the trouble. See, there's an oversaturation of Erica Kirk conspiracy propaganda videos that if some guy like me comes along and tells the truth, it gets buried. People unsubscribe and bitch. Like, oh, you're saying Erica wasn't involved in her husband's death? You must be sticking up for Israel, or you're sticking up for the death of Charlie or something like, or you're trying to cover up for Charlie's death, right? So I'm not trying to talk about Erica Kirk and give her character on the world stage any more attention, because that's the whole point of her character, is to get a bunch of negative attention. And people are happy to give her negative attention. People get off by pointing at Erica Kirk and being like, that evil bitch. So when someone like me comes along and says, she's not actually a real evil bitch, it's actually just an actor who has crazy eyes on purpose to trick you into thinking she's an evil bitch. Nobody wants to hear that. My audience, they know that sort of thing, but outside of my audience, that is not popular, to tell the truth about Erica just being a actor who wasn't involved in her husband's death. Yeah, that's not popular. Nobody wants to hear that. Kind of like how nobody wants to hear how Trump is being played in some circumstances by AI. Nobody wants to hear that they have AI versions of Trump. No. People get mad at me and call me a lefty if I point that out. If I point out that Trump is being portrayed as AI in some circumstances, and that we basically have the same type of deal as we did with Joe Biden, where there's multiple different Trumps and actors in hyper-realistic masks and AI versions of Trump, that we don't have a real president. There's people who are like, fuck you, man, I'm unsubscribing. You sound like a leftist, right? So if I make any sort of video about Trump nowadays, people unsubscribe and call me a lefty. So now I'm like, okay. So I guess making videos about Trump's off the table. Now people who don't like Trump don't want to hear about him, and people who like Trump don't want to hear anything negative about him. So that pretty much means I just can't ever say anything negative about Trump, because then people are just going to say that I'm a crying liberal.
You're just a liberal. That's the only reason you're making a video that's negative about Donald Trump.
Camilla Sweden says, please perform Black Man Speaking You. Please perform Black Man Speaking You. Oh my God, I'm not sure what you want me to do here. So you just want me to pretend to be a black man? Is that it? All right. So if I'm going to pretend to be a black man, I should probably pretend to be a black man that some people might recognize. So for this example, I'm going to pretend to be a black man known as Cat Williams. Here you go. Cat Williams, because that's somebody that you guys would recognize, right? So here we go. We'll do Cat Williams. Rather than me just do a generic general impression of a black man, I figure it would be more entertaining if I do an impression of a black man who you guys know and have heard of, right? So here we go. My impression of Cat Williams. I think Suge knows who shot Suge. It was the same nobody who done shot Malcolm X. It was the same nobody who done shot Martin Luther King, which was the same nobody who done shot Tupac. And ain't nobody figuring out who done shot nobody. And that's why ain't nobody gonna get caught for shooting nobody. It was the same nobody that done shot Martin Luther King, y'all. And that's why Suge knows who shot Suge. There you go. Haven't done that one in a while. All right, Lint Away Air Duct Cleaning says, from one YouTuber to another, I have a lot of respect for you. This game is not easy. The algorithm, the constant need to make more videos. It's been more stressful than usual lately, man. So the last month has been rough, and had some personal family stuff go down. And so whenever I have to deal with like personal stuff and stuff going on in my life that's out of my control, and then I have to go live or appear on camera and keep doing this job, like it can be really tough, and in some cases almost impossible. And sometimes, like, I want to tell you guys about the stuff that I'm going through behind the scenes, but I don't want to sound like I'm just wait. I don't want to sound like I'm complaining. Like, I don't want you guys to I don't want you guys to think that I'm complaining about what's happening or whatever. So sometimes if I'm going through something rough or personal, I just keep it to myself, and I try and just get through it, and I try and upload content and do these streams and just try not to let it affect me. But it can be hard sometimes, like I said, damn near impossible, because I got to go on camera. I got to try and be funny. I got to try and be entertaining. So what happens when I wake up and I don't feel happy? What happens when I wake up and I don't feel funny? What happens if I wake up and got some bad news that someone in my family died, and then I gotta try and put all that aside and come up with that next video and do that next live stream, right? And so, being I'm my own boss, I can take some days off, take some time off. But the problem with this job is if you take too many days off, you get punished. The algorithm forgets about you. People forget about you. The views start to plummet. And then what happens is the very next thing you do upload tanks. And YouTube does that to punish people. Oh, you took a week off? Next video you upload is going to tank. Next stream you do, we're not going to notify hardly any of your subs. So whenever you do on YouTube decide to like take time off for personal reasons or whatever, then you got to try and get your channel started and going again. And you find that like, oh shit, now I got to like try and rebuild the momentum that I lost. So I've noticed that like it's always a constant battle of trying to regain momentum. And then I'll put out a few videos, do a few streams, and then start to get the channel going again. And then we'll go through like a period where the news is boring and I can't think of anything exciting to talk about. And then I fall right back into the same trap where like, shit, what do I talk about next week? What do I talk about in the next video? And so one of the hardest things to do is just to keep this going day in, day out. Just keep finding new things to talk about. And in every stream, just keep finding new things to say and do and entertaining, keep people laughing. And so there's days where like it's Wednesday and I'll have to stream and I won't feel confident about hitting the live button. And I'm like, well, shit, I don't really have any good subjects to talk about. And someone in my family passed away and I don't want to tell my audience that because then that'll be depressing and it'll make the whole stream depressing. So how do I deal with not feeling confident about the material that I have to deliver and not feel confident about being funny? How do I put all that aside and hit the live button and just do it anyway? So yeah, guys, there's times where like I'm like, fuck, I got to go live and try and put on a happy face and make everyone laugh, even though I'm not feeling it, you know? And so if I don't do it, then the problem is I'm not working. So then I don't work. So if I don't go live, don't make content, and I sit and try and hope to feel better or find something better to talk about, then I'm sitting and not working, and that makes me feel even worse. So then it becomes like this terrible thing that just becomes like overwhelming. Like, oh shit, I have to come up with a video and it has to be good. If I upload another video that's shitty, it's going to make me feel even worse. And then people aren't going to like me. And so it's this job. The most stressful part is just to keep it going year after year after year after year after year. And then when you do go through a downtime and you're not sure what to talk about, you're at a crossroads, you're not feeling it, but you got to do it anyway. That's the hardest part, man. So yeah, there's some times where this job is extremely difficult for me to do, but I gotta just do it anyway. RY says, can we get a biblical beast of the sea tonight? All right, let me see what I can do here. Let me see what I can do. All right.
Hey, little baby, look at me. I'm rising up like the beast from the sea. That's where I'll be in Seattle. I'll be ready for a big old battle. Come on. That's where I'll be. With a biblical creature, biblical beast from the sea. Will they call me the king, king of the sea? I'll be rising, that's where I'll be. Biblical beast from the sea. Will they call me the king, biblical beast from the sea? Will they call me the king, biblical beast from the sea? Honka, honka, berry, burn love. Honka, honka, berry, I'm burning up, oh, babe. Ah. All right. I blew it. I haven't practiced that in a few weeks, and I couldn't quite remember how I pulled it off last time. I screwed it up. Shit. I'm gonna have to go back now and practice that and re-figure out how I pulled it off last time. So I totally forgot how I pulled that off. All right, guys. I'm going to wrap it up here pretty quick. Ralph wants to go outside, and I'm getting tired.